Well, g'day, Max here again. Welcome back to the shop. We're up to part 8 now of our lathe maintenance and modifications. So this week we're going to have a look at the lubrication system of the cross slide. Now, my opinion, it's not up to par where it should be, but that's my opinion. So what we're going to do is we're going to, where I mean it's not up to my standards, there's no proper oil grooves, and we could be getting this cross slide lubricated a lot better. So we're going to set this Gib strip up. We're going to cut some zigzag oil grooves in, and we're going to set up the compound, the cross slide, sorry. We'll cut some oil grooves in here because there's nothing in there. So I'll swing you down in a minute and we'll show you our plan of attack, what we're going to do with that and the reasons why. So before we do that, we've got one other important little piece to go to. We had a letter in the post today from Houston, Texas. So that's Harold from Amateur Redneck Workshop in Texas. So he got a pretty good channel going over there, so go and check him out if you haven't already. Okay, well that's one more to the collection, so we'll continue on with our cross slide. Okay, well here's our 3 oilers for the cross slide. So the centre one, there's nothing we have to do to that one, that's fine. That just drills, direct drilling straight through this hole here, and just the oil just runs down directly onto the feed shaft. Now the other 2, these 2 outside ones here, okay, this one here just drills straight through to there. Now this side here is the side that our Gib strip sits in. So when our Gib strip's in place, it only leaves a very tiny hole just there for the oil to come through. You see the oil hole gets slowly covered up. So there's only a fraction of the hole. Now what happens then, the oil does not have a proper groove to fully lubricate the face of this Gib strip, and most of the oil will actually run down in between the Gib strip and its backing face, just here, and then it will slowly run down and migrate down to this sliding surface here. Now, and then it's got no effective way as of this side to get from there to there. Now the oil groove, the oil drilling for this way is just a direct hole drilled straight through there, which is there, and it also has a cross hole drilled in it right in the corner there, so the oil will travel along the groove in the corner there. But once again, once the oil hits there, it's got no effective means to lubricate this entire face, so we'll do zigzag grooves on here. So we'll do the Gib first. We'll get the zigzag cut on the Gib, and then we'll tackle this one.
59th running of the great race. The Battle of Bathurst ignites again. Beautiful start by McLaughlin. Waters perfectly up the inside. Correction, make that Caruso. So Caruso's done a nice job to launch off the line. The tallest diffs in the car make them hard to get away. Different drop gear than any other event that we go to. So with all the fuel on board and the tall gearing, getting them away is a challenge in itself.
Mostert was actually compromised in the middle of turn 1 with Caruso. Caruso got the best jump of the first 3 cars. In fact, he had nowhere to go because he was blocked by McLaughlin. 2 Red Bull Holden Racing Team's cars are split by Percat as you turn into the cutting. Reasonably sane opening opening 1 kilometre. Oh no, say that, and in the fence. In the fence for car 14. Over the rise, in the slide, and Tim Slade in the fence on the opening lap. And a lot of damage. I was just saying that everybody was quite contained. I don't know whether he got a bump or not, but that car has hit the fence.
Okay, so we have our Gib strip here mounted up on this aluminium plate, clamped down securely at either end. Now what we've had to do, because the Gib is machined on a taper, it's a tapered Gib, we've had to shim up one end of the rotary table, so we've got some packers under here to bring up the Gib parallel to the axis of the machine. So we had to do some funky clamping. So we have our strap clamps here, the stud going to a cross bridge across here. Now the reason why we've had to clamp like that is where we would normally clamp the rotary table in its centre mounting hole, there's a gap underneath it, so we don't want to clamp down on the rotary table in a position where there's nothing directly underneath it supporting the rotary table. So we have our zigzag shaped oil grooves laid out. So we'll put a ball nose end mill in, and we'll just take a light cut following the zigzag pattern. Okay, so what I've done, so we don't make a cock up on all our direction changes that we have to do here, I've just got a centre drill in the drill chuck. Now I did start doing this with the pointy end of an edge finder, but of course halfway through I bumped the edge finder and had to start again, so the centre drill's fine, I can't bump it. So we've traced through all of our direction changes on here, and I'll swing you down, we'll have a look at our drawing that we made. Okay, so our tool path, as we have on the drawing, we start off X and Y on 0, and we're just going to call our rotary table the C axis. So we start from 0, we come along to 0.8 on the X axis, across on the Y till we hit 1.8, we lift our tool, we reset our tool position to these coordinates, we come back down and we cut along the X axis to 1.6, down the Y to 1.8, along on the X to 0.8. So when we lift our tool, we reset the tool position to these coordinates, we come back down and same again, finish on the X axis at 1.4. So we have 3 tool position change of locations to carry out. You could just do all that by eye off the layout lines, but the chances are quite high you're going to make a cock up and not quite get these angle changes correct. So we'll do it this way. Okay, so we lift back out now, we have another tool reposition to do. So our new tool position, X will be on 1.8. Y-axis will be 2.6. And our C, our rotary table of 1 degree, 30 minutes. tool back down and make sure everything looks alright. Okay, well, that's our Gib done for the compound slide, and we have a parallel groove there. That's the entry point for the oil, and we have to slot that for it's only a short distance, probably 3/4 of an inch, and that's what that allows for us when the Gib's adjusted in and out. Of course, the oil port stays fixed, so the oil can still get into the oil groove. Okay, we have our compound set up now on the rotary table to do the grooving, oil grooving on the ways under here. So on the compound, we're only going to run our oil grooves down 3/4 of the length of the compound, and the reason for that is when the compound's fully wound in on its travel, we don't want exposed oil grooves underneath there. So we're just going to take a light cut and we'll see how it goes. With this one, we can just start from our start position and we can do the whole zigzag all of the way down. So let's get cracking on it. And I'm using the quill stop on this one because I've got too much backlash in the quill with the hand feed. I've got 18th thou backlash and it makes life a bit difficult. So I'm just going to sneak the depth of the cut, I'm just going to sneak it down with the quill stop. So hopefully it should all work out. Okay, that looks good. I'll just go and I went to blow the chips away, but I forgot to turn the compressor on, so I'll just go and build some air up in the compressor. We'll come back. Okay. That's about as far as we need to go, I think, because like I said before, when this cross slide is fully extended, if you've got any overhang over the saddle, when you go to prime or oil your machine, all the oil will just run out the end of the groove, so you won't build up enough pressure in the oil groove for the oil to start to work its way out the sides. So we've crossed over our oil feed port there, so that's good. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. This side here will be a bit more of a challenge, as the zigzags, every angle slightly changes, and that's because of the taper. This end here is wider than this end here. But that's no problem. That's why we've done it on the rotary table, so we can change our angles. Okay, well, same thing again. We'll come down with the quill. We've set our angle, so after each diagonal we just have to change the angular fraction. So on the angle changes, we'll just do it by eye. Just looking at the edge of the cutter up against my layout line. Okay, that looks to be quite good. another angle change. Only a very slight one, this one. That's it, it's close enough for an oil groove. Okay, well that was a success, looks good. So we'll get it unbolted and deburred. Okay, well, just to get sidetracked for a bit, as we do from time to time, had a parcel come in the post. And what these are, I'll get one open. Should be, hopefully. And they are. These are HS300 100R resistors, braking resistors. So these will go, I've got two of these will go in with my VFD, so we can get the Bridgeport powered up and running, finally. So Hong Fuck Wong there behind me, our little wee mill, she'll shortly be going into retirement until she gets a full refurbishment later on. So anyway, back to our lathe.